I am just checking. I am now live. So, hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Vibers. I'm streaming in 4 places using 2 devices because I was feeling kind of lazy. First of all, I have to say, I can't remember the last time I did an Insta Live. So here I am. So feel free to pop comments below. Feel free to send me a message if there's stuff that you want to say. But hello, hello, hello. And today I thought I would come on and do this live, kind of an impromptu live for a number of reasons. For those of you who follow me personally on Facebook, in February 2023, I did 365 consecutive days of Facebook Lives. So that, of course, finished in February, which feels like months ago. And today I was speaking to somebody who asked me my thoughts about how did I feel afterwards. And if I'm honest, hello, 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 I'm waving at you there. If I'm honest, when I finished, the next day I was like, well, this is weird. I don't have to do a live today. Kind of feels a bit strange. It felt like that for a few days. Then I missed it and thought, well, what's the point in committing to doing 365 consecutive days of lives and then just carrying on and doing more? And I didn't have a schedule or a plan really to do it. And it just got me to thinking, let me just go on live and share some stuff. And I was writing down all the things that I could share on this live, but I won't share them all because it will be a bit overwhelming. But there's a few things I've been up to this week. So what I'm going to do instead, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the replay, I'm going to encourage you to type in the comments below. And as I say, if you're watching this on Instagram, it will disappear in about 24 hours time anyway. Then just send me a message and vote. What would you like me to share? So here are some of the things that I could share with you. What to do when you're preparing a talk, as in a public speaking talk, face-to-face live for a professional body. It could be a corporate, it could be a professional audience. Some really important things to include. Now, the reason that I've put this or picked this as a topic, as you can see, I had my nails done today. Thanks to the lovely dollies who I've tagged in my stories. So I had my nails done today, and as always, Beverly there was asking me, what are you up to? You know, what are you doing? And I was saying, I'm going to get my hair done, get my nails done because they needed doing anyway. But I'm going to be giving a couple of talks next week. And she was asking me about not necessarily my process for building a talk, but you know, do I have some form of structure or something that I do? What happens if you get there and you need to change at the last minute? And all of those were really great questions and things that I thought you might be interested in. So if you want to really nail your talk, as I like to say, nail a killer talk, then why not? Now, some of you who are business owners not only want to nail a killer talk, but you want to be able to sell your services or have people buy from your talk where you're allowed to sell. And I've done that too. So that might be something you pick. Second thing you might want to pick is difficult conversations. Actually, one of my favorite topics. Hey, Joe. One of my favorite topics, and here's why. I have been doing kind of difficult conversations for a number of years. But to be fair, all of us do. All of us have to have these various conversations, sometimes difficult, sometimes otherwise. And they can range from all sorts of things, from conversations at work, conversations in life. But I was talking about the story behind where these difficult conversations came from. And there are a couple of different things I've talked about in various interviews or podcasts and radio and stuff like that, where they came from in the first place. But I went all the way back to my days of working abroad, working overseas. And I was telling Beverly the story of how this came about. But I know a lot of people navigate having to have difficult conversations. So rather than me give you scripts and tell you exactly what to say, why not why don't I share one of these lives where we talk about some of the things that you can do and think about, which will make them feel and seem so much easier. So you can vote for that. So if that's what you want to vote, send me a message with the word difficult or difficult conversations if you can be bothered, or type in the comments below. If you want the talk thing, prep for a talk, just send talk. The other thing, and especially for those of you who are freelancers or got a business, are offers. That's what I'm actually going to speak about today. But also how this can apply to kind of like interviews or pitches and things like that. So if that's you and you've got a specific scenario, obviously don't say, I want to speak to Jenny Kovacs about this thing and pitch this offer or whatever. But if you've got any questions around it, give me some context. Interview, like job interview, or, you know, maybe you're interviewing on a podcast, or maybe you're the host and you feel a bit kind of stoic when you're asking questions. You don't feel like you get the best out of people. Whatever it is that you would like to do, just let me know live and I will answer them for you. So for those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube, I will see your comments come up, but I don't always see who's saying them. And even if I do, I will treat them anonymously. So I'll say, oh, here's a question, and I'll do plenty of squinting at you because I haven't got my glasses on, and because I'm looking at you on my computer there and you on my phone there. So let's crack into some things to do if you're a freelancer, if you're a founder, company founder, if you're a business owner, if you're an author, if you're a speaker, anytime that you have to share your services. So the first thing that I want you to think about is think of a service. It could be one that you've shared lots of times, so you want to kind of build on it, or it could be one that you've never shared before, so you want to kind of put a pair of fresh eyes on it. It could be something that you offer for free. So if you've got a download or a freebie, it could be that too. It could be anything like your book, it could be your VIP day, but get really specific in your mind, just for the purposes of this video, of the thing that you want to offer. Okay, and here's why. Sometimes we think, well, it's free, everybody will want it, everybody will take it. There's different things that you do to position that offer in comparison to something that might be of a lower ticket, depending who your audience is. If your audience is a certain type of audience, £100 might be high ticket, free might be low ticket, or £5 might be low ticket. Whereas for some people's audience, low ticket might be a few thousand, and high ticket might be multiple thousands, hundreds of thousands, depending on what you do. So get that in your mind as well. And I'll just go through some key elements. Now, I've been doing a lot of this offer work with people. Why? Because there's a point in the road, like a fork in the road, where visibility meets offers and offers meet visibility. So people often come to me and say, I'm, okay, I've got a marketing plan, but I've got this offer and I'm not really sure what to share, how to share it. They'll ask me things like, can you help me name it? What should I call it? Does it have to have a name because it's worth X amount? Many people will start to look at offers that are £1,000 or $1,000, €1,000 or more, and start to feel like they have to have a name that's really attractive for it. Otherwise, people won't buy it. And that's, strictly speaking, not true. Okay, so if that's you and you've got to worry about it, then kind of cast that out of your mind. In fact, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, think about something with that offer that you're thinking of that might stop you from wanting to share it. You don't need to type it. You don't need to share it with me. Although if you want to send me at Facebook, I'm at Visibility Vibe without the S, and you'll see my page, Jenny Kovacs, the Queen of Being Seen, as it says along there. Feel free to send me a message. I won't coach you behind the scenes. I don't have permission to do that, and we're not working together. But if you want to express the thing that might stop you from sharing your offer, then there'll be some things that I can likely kind of help you with that too. So visibility meets offers, offers meet visibility. So why is this important? Why am I speaking about it? What on earth am I talking about? So the first thing, I guess, is, as you can see along there, my name's Jenny Kovacs. I'm a visibility queen. I've actually been a visibility specialist since 2010, and I'm passionate about you being visible. I do this for you. I don't do it so that I'm more visible, although I have to be to a certain amount so that you can even find me. But I do this visibility stuff for you. And in 2010, I actually invented or created something called Visibility Vibes, which is 5 key pillars to being visible. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to do every one. But if you're like, some people come to me, they're naturally gifted in, parts of the first pillar, parts of the third pillar, or parts of the fourth pillar. So there are different places of that. So what is visibility? It's your ability to have people see your work. Now, contrary to popular belief, you might think people seeing your work has to be thousands and thousands and gazillions and millions of people, that all your videos have to go viral. And whilst that's good for some people, and that's okay, it's also okay if they don't. Because honestly, in order to be visible, as long as you're connecting with the right types of people, as long as you are able to have them understand what it is that you can do for them, then that's potentially one person, one client. So some of the people I work with have got quite small audiences compared to some very well-known people out there. I've got a small audience, but it doesn't stop April. And I've just checked this back, like over the last 5-6 years, apart from 2020, although that then became busier than I expected it to, even in lockdown, for some reason, the last 10 days of April, consistently over the years, have been my busiest times. Busiest times for getting booked to speak, like in person. Busiest times of getting or being asked or invited to be interviewed on podcasts. Quite a busy time for doing radio segments for some reason. Had a number of radio segments over the years from BBC, Manchester, Scotland, Essex, BBC Radio 5 Live. So for some reason, that has been a very busy time of year. Why is that? Who knows? But here's why this matters. When you are able to meld visibility for your offers, it means that when you're putting stuff out there, you don't feel like you've wasted a load of time. You're not using the wrong visibility tool for the right visibility job, or the wrong visibility job for the right visibility tool. So there are lots of things you can use out there. And as I often say to people, all of it works. All of it works. But if you try and do all of it, that's where you get into trouble. So you will find this really, really beneficial if you are, if you've been at this for a while, and you've got a new offer that you want to put out there, you want people to pick up what you're putting down, and whatever you're doing doesn't quite seem to be working, or it starts to work and then things drop off, or you're making your offers and the very people that need them from you are saying, no, I don't need this, thank you, bye. This is not about coercive sales pieces, although when you get your visibility and your offers melding and balancing together, actually, it means that they sell in the way that you imagine them to. So here are some insights, 6 kind of different insights of things to look for. So the first thing is clarity on what you're offering. I don't mind whether it's free, whether it's paid for, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's a mixture of all of those, whether it's a consultancy thing, whether it's a go buy this thing and read it, whether it's download this freebie and read it. You need to be crystal clear. And rather than trying to be visible for lots of different things, you need to channel kind of one energy to one thing. Now, I'm not saying only sell one thing and that's it, but here's what that might look like. So recently I've been putting together some of my private intensive days, and there are kind of like, there's a split in it. VIP days to many coaches, as they're known, but the private intensive days I actually deliver corporately to, or to people who are employed within corporates. And there's lots of different ways I can do that. But in order to be able to offer that either online or in person, I need to be clear. Is this offer for a corporate audience? Is it for an employed person, an employed professional? Is it for a business owner? Is it for someone who's just getting started as a business owner, someone who's been going for a while, or somebody who has maybe evolved and changed into something new? All of these things are important. So first things first is clarity. it makes being visible, it makes talking about the thing you do so much easier. You know what to say about it, what not to say about it, and you can offer it. So if I was offering an intensive day, and say it was a private one-on-one intensive day, then there were certain things that I would talk about. I wouldn't need to talk about lots of heads getting together in the room. I would talk about how you could bring your gold, your genius. I could sit and listen, and sometimes I'll have an assistant who will go and get things done, so that by the end of that day, you've got everything kind of done that you need to get done. I would talk specifically about the outcome, and I would talk a lot more about the outcome rather than the fact that you get a lovely lunch, that when you and I are working together closely, that you don't have to go out and find coffee shops. You get looked after as if you were coming to my home. You get the best of stuff. I was explaining to someone today that ever since my corporate training days, I'm not a fan of the sandwich lunch. You know, when they used to bring those big platters of sandwiches, and if you didn't eat them quick enough, they'd dry out, go curly at the edges, and then you'd be prodding them. The softer they were, the easier they were to eat, unless they were soggy. I don't like that as a thing to do in terms of working with people. And then also in a lot of my world, people have various dietary requirements. I never want them to have to feel awkward or out of sorts because there's certain things they want to eat or don't want to eat. And that's all to do with how they feel in that container. The other thing that I would talk about is the fact that I would be offering it either in person or online, whichever one I'm offering. If I'm offering it in person, I'd be talking about how the day would be structured, that there'll be lots of space and flexibility, that we'd be able to like spend a session picking out the ideas that they have, kind of splurging those, formulating them, and then leaving with a plan. I'm not necessarily going to go into oodles and oodles of details about how we do it, because at that point, as the expert, I want to take people through it. So when you talk about what you're offering, just go through and sense check that you have kind of ticked those things off. Otherwise, people become confused and then they think, oh, well, this is not for me. Second thing, who is it being offered to? I don't mean, is it a corporate? Is it a business owner? Like, what are the characteristics? What are the traits of the people or person that you're offering your thing to? Now, for some of you, it'll be one person, one thing, but for others, it will be the one thing, but to many different types of people. So it's important that you, again, don't meld them all together, their characteristics, what they're looking for, what they're worried about, maybe what they're struggling with. Because if you meld it all in, people in their heads will just go, oh, no, that's not me then. That's not me, The next thing is let them know a bit about how it's going to work. I got so into this is the outcome that you can expect, that I would sometimes forget to say, oh, yes, of course. How it's going to work is, pay a deposit, do this thing, do that thing, send me this. I'll have a call with you first. We'll spend time together. Then I'll support you doing this, which means that you can do blah, blah, blah. So let them know a bit about how it works. People often get a bit kind of edgy about this and feel like they do it because they have to validate their work or themselves, when in fact, the person just wants to know, like, how does this work? Think of somebody that looks after a baby. It's like saying to a newborn baby, I'll let you decide when you go to sleep and when you wake up and when you eat and all of that kind of stuff, which I know sounds like that's what people do. But there's a certain amount of kind of autonomy that is right for some people, but not. And this is because your insights, your expertise, your specialisms are what people are coming to you for, whether you've written it in a book, speaking it from a stage, sharing it in a training room or something else. The next thing people don't often think about or think past is the cost. Now, a lot of people tell me they struggle with how to price their offers. And there's no hard and fast rules, but there are a lot of things to consider, including how can people pay you? How can they pay you? Do they need a conversation with you first? And do you provide them with the payment details? Are you going to invoice them? Can they do payment plan? Can they pay by PayPal? Do you definitely not want PayPal? Are you looking at Stripe? Is it a bank transfer? Is it pay you at the end of the service? Or any of those things? This is one of the biggest single most underlying problems that people bump up against when it comes to payment. So not only just for payment, but how it works, who it's been offered to, and what you're offering. If for each of those you can write down a reason that might stop you, as I said at the beginning, something that might stop you, but this time it's something that might stop you from offering it, something that might stop you from articulating who it's been offered to, something that might stop you from talking a bit more about how it works. Most common thing for a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners are, but if I tell people how it works, they're going to steal my ideas and that's it, and I won't know, etc., etc. And the other thing is, what stops you from formulating or landing on a price? Now, this could be anything from comparisonitis, oh, well, she does it over there, he does it over there, they do it over there, and they charge X amount. I'm going to look cheap. Or they do it and it's far too expensive, far too bougie, don't like it. So get really clear on all of those. Okay, so then the last two things, and happily I will go into another. Oh, who's that? Hey, Lucio. Another thing that you might want to look at is, why do they need it? Now, this question, I laugh. I shouldn't laugh because it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. Whenever I speak to entrepreneurs that are purpose-driven, that are passionate about what they do, that are like, they've got this fire in their belly about the thing that they do. And they know it's the right thing. It feels driven, it feels life purpose, and that's it. Whenever I ask the question, why do they need it? Something often switches in their brain where they then go into, they need it because of this, this, this. It's almost as if they're justifying it. And that's not why I ask. I just like to hear what comes out. And when I'm working privately with people, I'll often record the calls for them that they can keep and listen back to. And that's the same even for intensive days or VIP days for certain situations and scenarios. And the reason that I do this is because the flow of words that they come out with, often contained within that, is the very thing they're looking for, like the name of their course, or what they should call their day, or what they should call their thing. They use some really great words. So it's like they splurge them all out. I'm like this, catching it all, because they normally use a lot of words to talk about it. Once I've caught them all, I put them together and I'm like, oh, that one's the shiniest. That one will resonate with them. Here you go. I'll give it back to you. And just like that, they have their name. But they're also clear on why they need it, as in why their client needs it. And when we get all stuck on why we think they need it, often this is why, the biggest reason why we kind of talk at cross purposes, and sometimes that offer doesn't land, because they're saying, but I really need a healthy diet. I really need a healthy diet. And you're saying, oh, but I really want to have you eating this thing and this thing and this thing. And there's a slight parallel, and then it just misses the mark. Something that's really easily done. And, for full transparency, it's the reason why I still to this day will work with mentors and coaches, because it's easier to work as a tag team with somebody than it is to try and figure it all out by yourself. It takes longer. You lose your bottle. You don't always put it out there. You feel self-conscious. You wonder what people are going to say. You feel you're being judged, etc., etc. List as long as my arm. I hear it every day, quite literally. So the final thing is talking about how it benefits them. And there are a couple of little magic words, not complicated, that I encourage people that I work with to add into those sentences. And by doing that, it actually makes it make sense. It makes them articulate it really clearly. It makes sense to the person listening, the people listening, the person reading, the person watching, and it has it make complete sense. This is where you would quite literally generate more leads, because now it makes sense. So if you are looking at an offer and it doesn't seem to sell, or it doesn't seem to hit the mark, but you've had maybe some interest in it and the person said no, rather than being attached to the fact that they said no, if you've built up any rapport with them, maybe had a call with them, go back and ask them what about the offer didn't feel right for them. Make it clear that this is not a thing that you're going to try and pitch them or sell at them, or sell it to them, like kind of push. Just let them know that you'd like more clarity on what it is that they might need. And by doing that, you'll be amazed at some of the things that people will feed back to you. So give it a go. That's it for now. I just thought I would do this very impromptu live. So thank you, Instagram. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, the Vibers. And thank you to YouTube. I've got to now try and stop 2 lots of lives. So thank you so much for watching. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.